The MCU is dead. You might have heard the statement after several less than stellar installments, so there's a lot riding on the latest entry. Welcome to the review desk. I'm Desmond Kerk, and today I'll review The Marvels. The good. The cinematography in this film looks pretty crisp. There's some nice color grading done, nicely complemented by the CGI, which I felt looked very good, both when it came to the locations and objects that are in motion, spaceships, and characters during fight scenes. The CGI is gorgeous, pay your VFX artists fair wages. The movie also has this neat trick where it plays with movement. Characters look stationary, but the background starts to move, almost giving you a sense of moving with them. There was only one scene during Dar-Ben's flashback when an attacking Captain Marvel looks like a stiff CGI rendering, but other than that, everything looks slick and really packs a punch. That being said, go ahead and punch that subscribe button. Really appreciate it. Kamala Khan is without a doubt the heart of the film. Iman Vellani is a fellow Canadian and a national treasure. Her portrayal of Kamala is smart, funny, and often the voice of reason, cutting through the tension between Carol and Monica. She's been known to visit local cons, and if I ever run into her, I'm definitely shaking her hand. You go, girl. The film's tagline, Higher, Further, Faster, perfectly captures the main theme, improvement. This often involves looking at our faults and finding a way to overcome them, which isn't always easy. Kamala brings the heart, but she has to learn that being a superhero isn't always the glamorous picnic she thought it was. The job comes with having to make some hard choices and sometimes sacrifices. But she's optimistic. She's got a good head on her shoulders, and I believe these experiences will serve to make her rise even higher as a hero. Monica is the brains of the operation, tackling problems from a scientific angle. But she needs to get out of her comfort zone and learn that ignoring problems doesn't make them go away. Despite the fact that she's gotten quite skilled in using her powers, she seems content with getting by using them at a basic level. This adventure forces her to push herself further and realize she's capable of so much more. That brings us to the brawn, Carol. She's approached a lot of problems in the only way she knows how, by punching them. And who can blame her? She still doesn't possess all of her memories from before her fateful accident, and she's incredibly powerful, so physical offense seems to be the easiest option. But as the evacuation plan involving the Flurkins proves, sometimes you gotta use your head and get creative. She's buried herself in work since her own film, and kind of has a if it ain't broke don't fix it mentality when it comes to her punch it in the face approach. But now, she's learning that there are repercussions to her impulsive strong-arm methods. She's quick to strike, but now she'll have to work on being a faster thinker. And maybe she'll find she can do more than just zap boom pow. The script has a nice balance of being both clever and simple at the same time. Not every superhero story needs to be about universe-ending events, or prioritize expanding the shared universe at the cost of individuality. It's middle of the road. And sometimes, that's just what we need. Like many MCU projects, Marvel's is full of comic references, from small to huge. Some of the suggestions for Monica's code names are lifted straight from the comics, as she's notorious for having had many of them. The quantum bands, of course. Maria Rambeau and the mutants showing up? This is a huge deal. Now, they could have been lazy. They could have just slapped a random costume on Maria. But they got that binary suit. This is straight from the comics, in a form that's closely associated with the X-Men. Everyone's asking, is the MCU dead? Has Kevin Feige lost his touch? You watch The Marvels, and the answer is no. There's so much more to come, and it's all connected in the signature MCU way. Tank, if you please. Higher, further, faster, baby. The movie's not without its flaws, however. Carol's powers are woefully inconsistent. The same Captain Marvel who took a headbutt from Thanos like a champ gets tossed around by the likes of Dar-Ben. And this is even before the Kree uses the universal weapon to absorb power. Speaking of which, I've often said that a story is only as good as its villain. In the case of this film, the villain is pretty bland. It doesn't help that her weapon of choice gives her a vibe of Ronin Light. The film states that Dar-Benn is Ronin's successor, but her lack of any unique traits makes her feel more like a gender-swapped version of the fanatical accuser. She has some backstory, and she is correct in asserting that Carol had a hand in Hala's collapse, but the Kree have continually been presented as arrogant and apathetic conquerors. The movie has no intention of making the audience sympathize with them, even though we're witness to their loss and suffering. While Carol does seek to make amends by reigniting Hala's son, that's all the Kree get from her and nothing more, because she doesn't owe them anymore. The gang ends up on planet Aladna, where the populace can only communicate by singing. This starts off as a fun element, but oftentimes when large groups are singing, their voices are drowned out by loud music, making it a bit hard to hear what it is they're singing. Definitely gonna need subtitles on when this one hits Disney+. Furthermore, the film is relatively short, clocking in at 1 hour and 45 minutes, and that's including credits. This has been highlighted a lot in the media, sometimes as a criticism. I don't think this is warranted. Not every movie has to be 2 hours long, especially since much of the groundwork for the Marvels has already been laid in WandaVision and Ms. Marvel TV shows. Verdict. The movie is a fun ride filled with charm, heart, and just enough meat on its bones. There's a lot of reviews online bashing the film, and of course, video essays with the prerequisite phrases like Marvel's destroyed by and Disney in panic. There's even people saying it's the worst MCU film ever. So, we're just gonna forget about the Eternals, are we? I'm tired of this negativity being piled on films simply because they don't feature a white male lead. I know these edgelord titles result in views, and yeah, I'd like my channel to be successful as well. But come on guys, we can be critical of something without making up stuff that simply isn't there. There's no hidden MCU agenda. Much like with Quantumania, I disagree with most of the critics that it was underwhelming. And you know what? I enjoyed it more than Guardians Volume 3. There, I said it. Guardians Volume 3 had a powerful story, but with Rocket being knocked out for 90% of the movie, everything else kinda felt like filler. The Marvels, regardless of the relatively short runtime, allows all its main characters to shine. I'll award it 4 out of 5 Thunderbolts. The MCU isn't going anywhere. Just keep your eye on the ball. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.